Whether you're a first-time home buyer or have owned a home for a very long time, homeowners insurance is a big deal. You want to make sure that you have the right coverage to protect one of your biggest assets, your biggest investment, your home for most people. And secondly, have a competitive rate. There's no sense in paying more for a policy when you can find better coverage at a better rate someplace else. So, homeowners, where do you go for homeowners insurance? Erie Insurance does provide homeowners insurance. And today, I'm going to show you how to get a quote. Maybe you've heard great things about Erie Insurance from family or friends, and you're thinking to yourself, how do I get an Erie Insurance homeowners quote? The first thing you want to do is find an agent. Erie only writes through independent agents, so you can't go to erieinsurance.com and get a quote. You can't go to any agent in the country and get a quote. You have to find an independent insurance agent that writes with Erie Insurance. So that's the first thing. Do some Googling. Erie Insurance's website helps you find out where the agents are and which ones do represent Erie. So first thing is to find an agent. Some things to look out for when looking for an agent is their reviews on Google. See how many they have, see what people are saying about them. Those are unfiltered, and so it's usually a pretty good indication of how good that agent is. Also go online, see their community involvement, see what their social media looks like, read their bios on their website, and see if they could be a good fit for you. The second step is kind of self-explanatory, but just need to reach out to them, whether it's stopping in to the agency or giving them a call or shooting them an email. You need to make a point of contact and say, I would like a quote from Erie Insurance. Erie Insurance agents are independent, so we write with a variety of different companies. And so it's helpful to specify, I saw Erie Insurance and I would like an Erie Insurance homeowners quote. So those first two things are pretty easy. Find an agent that has Erie Insurance and writes with them. And second, contact them and say you're interested. Now, when scheduling a time to meet with your agent, some of the things that you will want to bring or have access to are your current policies. If you're a new homeowner, you won't have that, which is okay. But if you are a long-time homeowner, bring your current policies with you. That way, the agent can see the coverage that you currently have, the limits, the liability limit, your deductible, the dwelling amount coverage, all of the things that go in to make a homeowner's policy a homeowner's policy. When rating an insurance policy or a homeowner's policy, one of the biggest factors is what is the dwelling amount. And so that is essentially your home. How much is it going to cost to rebuild that? Many people think that is related to or associated with the market price of a home. And unfortunately, it's not. We see that a lot in Lancaster City, where someone will buy a place in the city for, say, $150,000. But when we go to insure it, we'll insure it for upwards of $300,000. And that's because you may have bought it for a lower price, but those city homes are usually all brick, they're ornate, they're very nice homes and built very well. And so to build it back to that standard is not inexpensive and usually way more than what you paid for it. So the dwelling amount's a big deal. Other things you want to bring and tell your agent are, have you done any improvements or betterments to your home? Have you upgraded the kitchen? Have you finished the basement? Have you upgraded the bathrooms? Things like those are a big deal because the insurance companies pull only certain information and we don't have all the data of the upgrades and betterments you've done to your house. If you put $50,000 into your home, you don't want to just lose that in the fire because you didn't tell your insurance agent. So bring that information, the improvements you've done and the cost associated with those improvements. The second thing is you want to just tell a little bit about yourself. What's your home like? What do you do? What do you like to do? So for example, maybe you have a finished basement. That's great info to share to your insurance agent because then you may want to get backup of sewer and drain coverage for your basement in case something backs up or your sump pump fails and you get water in your basement. If it's unfinished, not a huge deal. You dry it out and you're good to go. But if it is finished, you want to make sure you have enough coverage under that type of coverage that you're okay and that we can help rebuild that. Another type of thing to think about is, do you host parties? Do you have pets? Those two things, generally speaking, raise your exposure level a little bit in the insurance world. And so you might want to think about raising your liability limits. If someone comes over, you have a lot of parties, and someone slips and falls, you could be liable for their injuries and get a lawsuit. That way it falls back on your homeowner's policy, and you want to make sure you have adequate coverage, maybe even an umbrella policy, to cover what your exposures are. So just tell your agent, hey, we have a lot of parties, we have a type of dog. All of those things go into whether or not you qualify for Erie Insurance quote, and help us as the agent put together a quote that fits your unique situation. All homeowners policies are not created equal, and so you want to make sure that we are providing the best quote for you, for the best company for your circumstances. And lastly, you get the quote and just look down through it. Look for the coverage amount, look for the coverages that they have, backup of sewer and drain, do they have equipment breakdown, all of those different elements that go into it. And then you have an Erie Insurance homeowners quote. You can take it out in the market, you can shop it against other companies if you like, and see how the coverages compare and the price. And then you will have all the info you will need to make a smart insurance buying decision. Our homes are a huge investment, and you want to make sure that your homeowner's policy accurately and adequately covers you for all that you may need coverage for. So yeah, that's how you get an Erie Insurance homeowner's policy. Find an agent, reach out, bring some information about you, about your family, about your lifestyle, and then that should be enough to get you an Erie Insurance auto quote, and you can go from there. We at Susquehanna Insurance do write with Erie Insurance, and so if you would like an Erie Insurance homeowners quote, feel free to reach out, stop in. We have an office in Lancaster and one in Lidditz, and we can help you work through the different questions we talked about to get you an Erie Insurance homeowners quote. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.